You want attention so bad, but what are you gonna do with it? So the Black-owned brand Hanifa is founded and created by the fashion designer Hanifa. They had a Black Friday sale in November. A lot of the items on the sale were for pre-order. They were supposed to shipped out in December or January. It came February, and many people did not have their items. So people took to the internet to complain, and rightfully so. People can complain about not receiving their items from a business. The conversation, though, quickly changed from being about not receiving their items and customer service issues to being about Black-owned businesses, Black women tearing each other down, and each conversation sparked another conversation that grew another leg of its own. I want small business owners to really pay attention to this because I've been having consultations with small brand owners, is that they are not ready for visibility. You do not want to be popular for free, and you for damn sure do not want to get attention that you cannot capitalize on and do anything with. If your goal is to manufacture momentum and to manufacture visibility, so you put yourself on local news stations, you get yourself in media placements, you're everywhere and anywhere collaborating with other brands to expand your reach. But if you do not have the infrastructure and the systems, the inventory, the bandwidth to handle the attention that comes at you after placing yourself everywhere, you have actually done yourself a disservice and an injustice. You may not be doing the best thing for your business in the way that you think you are. Many brand owners and founders think the solution to their revenue problem is increasing the amount of eyes on their business. There is a focus on client acquisition. The thing about it is that even if you multiply the number of clients that you have or the number of customers that you have, if your baseline foundation and infrastructure is wonky or completely non-existent, the attention is going to magnify what already exists. If what already exists is not solid and not strong, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I know that that sounds counterproductive. So many brand owners create content online because they're looking for a viral moment. They want their posts to gain traction. They want to be on, your local news station. They want to be seen. But is that an ego thing, or is that a responsible business decision to make? I had a consultation with a client. She came to me initially because she wanted media placement, and she also wanted to create stronger strategic partnerships in the local Jackson area to gain attention on her business. What I told her is, even if you got all of that attention, as it stands right now, your brand is not in a position to do anything with it. Visibility becomes the metric that people are chasing. They want views, they want shares, they want likes. When, in my mind, the metric that you should be chasing is the almighty US dollar. What is actually going to put money in your pocket? And going out and getting more customers when you have not strengthened the current client cycle that you have, adding more people to that is only going to complicate the issue. So let's talk about what happens when attention comes too early. Even from an operational capacity, you don't have the operational capacity to meet the demand. And to have not thought about what strategy you will employ if this happens. How quickly do you put up a pre-order form? How quickly do you get in touch with the manufacturer? You've not done any of this background work to be ready for when the thing pops off, to be ready for how it can explode overnight. But you want it to, and then it happens, and then all of a sudden you hear all these reviews about such and such didn't even ship my order. Again, looking at Hanifa, right? Because there can be delays, there can be issues, there can be all kinds of things happening that you have not fully accounted for. And it ruins your brand reputation in the long run. Gonna operational capacity, but how are you gonna handle customer service issues, especially if you are a solopreneur? When people don't receive their orders or things happening, you still need to have capacity and bandwidth to deal with all of these things. And then when it comes to managing your brand's visibility and reputation, do you have a PR person to respond to the crisis communication, to respond how people have gotten online and discussed your business? Because what we can, for sure is that controversy does numbers online, and it only takes one or two people to have an issue before the thing kind of snowballs, as we saw with Hanifa, kind of just snowballed in the last 4 to 6 weeks. It just got bigger and bigger. Hanifa, the brand owner, finally came out to publicly address it I wish that the brand had employed a strategy in case things like this happen, especially when they noticed that things were being backed up. Having a crisis communication strategy from the beginning to address that, not just in the emails, but how to address it online, because that's where it was festering. Do you have that? And I'm sure as a solopreneur or a small business person, you may not. I'm not telling you not seek to expand your reach and get your business out there. I am telling you that attention without strategy is just you being busy for nothing. It's an ego boost, but it's not a business boost. So how do you know when you're ready for visibility? Laying the infrastructure is not sexy. Readiness is not sexy. Having all the I's dotted and the T's crossed is not sexy, and it's not fun. Marketing campaigns, that's more fun. But if you don't know how to fully respond when your brand pops off, that is not sexy. Here are the things you can think about when it comes to readiness. If you have physical products, what does the production process look like? How will you go from order to fulfillment? What is the contingency plan for that process? If there are manufacturing delays, how do you respond to that? Operational capacity. You need to honestly assess what it is that you can handle. You may not be able to fulfill 1,000 piece order. You may not have the capacity for that. So putting yourself out there in a way where you can actually meet the demand is what makes the most sense. Customer service problems. Do you have an email set up? Do you have email marketing set up? How are you going to get in touch with people? So many solopreneurs are often supported primarily by their immediate community. That means you can usually get in touch with people. You can shoot them a text. You can give them a call. But when your business goes viral, or you've intentionally placed it in so many places to gain more attention, but the infrastructure does not support that, how are you going to communicate with everyone? Well, how do you get in touch with people to let them know what the problems are and how to manage the expectation? And then this is a huge one, but financial stability. Do you have the revenue to support the business if it goes viral? Right? Have you priced things correctly to make sure that all these things are supported? There are so many pieces to this, and I don't mean to sound negative, but I think that it is important when it comes to handling business to think business first and founder second. And a lot of the entrepreneurs and small business owners that I've spoken with, they want to be seen, but they want to be seen for the sake of them feeling good about being seen and not for the sake of what makes the most sense when it comes to their business. And the purpose of that business is to solve a problem for people in exchange for, okay. And so doing what makes the most sense to support that bottom line is what makes the most sense, is the most conducive idea. Social media really has small business owners disillusioned. It can make virality, followers, all these other metrics seem like success when the business can still be crumbling internally. Going back to Hanifa, for example, I think she said it was the largest Black Friday sale they've ever had. Now, here we are 2 to 3 months later, and now Hanifa has decided to put the business on pause because they need to recalibrate. I wish that for Hanifa, the CEO and owner, for her personal sake, and Hanifa for the brand and business sake, I wish that they had a solid strategy for how to respond so that things don't snowball out of control. If you don't know how to capitalize on attention, and if you are not, the brand does not support you having that attention, this is all a waste of time. It can honestly put you in a situation where your brand is struggling in a way that it probably wasn't struggling before you had all of these eyes. Because attention creates more responsibility. The more people that patronize, the more opportunities for things to go wrong, the more exposure your brand has, the more your systems are exposed. And so if you grow steadily and slowly, you can control that more. So instead of thinking about how do you go viral or how do you place yourself in media platforms, media outlets, and everything to be seen, I think the better question is, how does my brand strategy support the growth that I'm looking to see? Sit with that. Sit with that for a moment. Can my business honestly deliver? How do I prepare for growth? What parts of the infrastructure should I change or develop if they don't exist to prepare for when this pops off? These are all things that we need to consider. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I do want to be honest. Is visibility powerful? Yes. But visibility is a tool to generate revenue from a business or a brand that is properly established to handle that level of growth. If you are a small business and you want to know more about this, you can always email me, JASMINE at limelightprstudio.com for a consultation and we could talk about it. And I also link audits here to see if you're ready for visibility. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.